Hey everybody, Scott here for the Helix channel and the HX Stomp. It's Tuesday, and today I'm going to show you a custom preset that's now a Freeset that I've made on the spot for a Pretenders song to sound good with a 2 humbucker guitar. It was most definitely not played on a 2 humbucker guitar. It's brass and pocket, and if I had to guess, I would say it was played on a Telecaster. But I've made a preset that sounds really good with the in-between pickup position on this guitar, my main guitar. And it'll be free to you. Just drop me a line. I'll send all the Freesets out this weekend for the whole week. And we're going to go through the construction of it and then play some bits. Shall we? All right, here we are over at the HX Stomp. It has, this preset has 2 snapshots, just the basic sound of the song, and then there's a slightly ballsier one that I do not demonstrate, but you can press snapshot number 2 and figure it out for yourself. It's just an E octave note that happens a few times during the song, during the choruses. And it's got more, more drive. Oh, I never turned the gate on. It doesn't really need it. It's basically a clean sound. So I'm not going to bother with that. I'm using the Jazz Rivet. And on the rhythm snapshot, which is the first snapshot, all the settings are thus, or set thusly, I should say. And when you go to the next one, it's more of a slightly overdriven sound. Tiny more bottom end. About a lot more drive. And my Marshall IR, of course. Now you'll notice I am setting the low cut pretty high. Normally I would set it between 100 and 150, but I want to remove a bunch of bottom end because the Les Paul, or the Les Paul style guitar that I use, has a lot more bottom end than a Telecaster or a Strat, and a lot more mid-range. So I am compensating for that on my low cuts. I'm also setting my high cut a lot higher so that I can simulate, get closer to a Telecaster type sound with a Les Paul type guitar. I'm using the in-between pickup position, and I think it really does a great job with this sound. And I've set the level thusly, so it's pretty hot. Because, the amp, the gain is so low that you've got to crank that the IR up a bit. Now you'll notice there's a very mild amount of modulation, and I'm using my +9, -9 trick, and I'm using a tiny little bit of delay on one of them. And I like that. It just adds an extra dimension to the sound, and just a bit of modulation. There's some EQ happening, and it's basically just to remove some bottom end and a little bit of mid-range. It's not doing anything with the top end. I'm using a plate reverb for this one, and a fairly short pre-delay for me. Normally I'm at 100 millisecond pre-delay, but on this one I wanted the reverb to be more all-encompassing of the entire sound. Not a ton of it, 33% mix. Trails are always on. There is a bit of a compressor at the end, but it's, you can see here, the peak reduction and the gain are super low, and so is the emphasis and the mix. When you go to the snapshot number 2, you'll notice there's more of that. There's more peak reduction and more gain. It helps in the boosting process. If I were to turn that gain up to 5 or 6, there'd be a noticeable addition of gain to the sound. So it's a great way to boost for solos, is to set the gain control on the LA Studio comp. If you're using a clean sound, boost the gain to 5. If you're using an overdriven sound, boost it to 6 or 6.6. That's what I usually do. And it really adds sustain and just balls. And that's pretty much it. I'm not doing anything with the level. I don't know why that's like that. But, we can get rid of that. We can stop it from the controller assign. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Hit the bottom 2 and then hit controller assign. And then we'll pan over until we see snapshots and then set it to none. There you go. No more controller assign on that one. And it frees it up for something else because you have a limited amount of controller assigns you can do. I think it's like 30 or something like that. I've maxed it out before. So, you know, on the other Helix, I don't know that I've maxed it out on the HX Stomp, but the night is young. Okay, it's an easy song to play. Couple bits I'll share with you. The intro is super simple. It's an A chord with open E and B. And then there's some double stops. I like to pick them up here. It just sounds better to me. Then there's a staccato bit that plays on a separate track in between those bits that I like to add. Like that. There you go, everybody. I hope my chair isn't too tall. I had to swap this one out with my wife because she was having a sore tailbone issue. She fell down when she was a little kid and it flares up apparently. She has a boo-boo. So I've got a stationary chair now. Doesn't have wheels and it's a little taller than my other one. I might be cutting off my head. Like I care. This wasn't my best feature up here anyway. I don't fucking give a shit. So, yeah, good times. Just drop me a line. I'll send this to you sometime this weekend, including the IR, which is my custom IR. Good stuff. I'm just going to continue to do a bunch of Freesets, songs that I really like, recreating sounds. I might even do a live stream here and there if I figure out how to do that. I'm thinking about getting an iPad mini and a brand new interface that Johnny A turned me on to, a new SSL, solid state logic unit that he just got, and man, his guitar sounds incredible through it. So if you get a chance, go to his Facebook page. I believe it's Johnny A Official, and check out his live stream from yesterday or today. The guitar is ridiculous. It sounds amazing. So I just need to get one of those units. Sweet. So I'll be back tomorrow. Ooh, name that riff Wednesdays. Come on back. You know, I'll probably end up giving it away to everyone, but it's still fun to try and guess. And don't use those little cheating apps that fucking Shazam horseshit. The fuck, people? Come on. Anyway, my cat's itching to get out of this room, so I better let him out. I'll see you tomorrow. And until then, rock on.